Hello everyone, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Fulu and this is Get Candid with Fulu, where we talk about everyday life issues. I bring in my personal opinion and that of any invited guests on the show. On today's episode, first of all, I want to say thank you to everyone for your congratulatory messages. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad that my last episode was able to bless you. Thank you so much. On today's episode, it's almost like a continuation, but I just want to talk about some of the things that I went through postpartum that I really was not prepared for and nobody tells you about. Some of them were more serious, others were not as serious, but yeah, I'll just dive into it. Breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is, for me, again, as I said, this is my experience. So now it's from my lens. Yours might not be the same, but this is mine. Breastfeeding was one of the toughest things that I had ever gone through. So before I had her, I was very intent on breastfeeding her. I had said I wanted to breastfeed her till she was 1 year old. And that was my prayer. The truth of the matter is, I didn't even think that it was something that I had to be concerned about or even pray about, honestly. I just thought, yeah, I'll breastfeed her till she's 1. Yeah, it was not, doctor's visits, my doctor would ask, are you planning on breastfeeding? Yeah, till 1, And then she came. And first of all, she would not latch, which was a tough one because, they tell you how, well, when you first start, it's colostrum, it's something very tiny that is coming out and all that, but she would not latch. And then in the hospital, we had lactation consultants that would come through and, they would try and get her to latch, and she would, and, she would fall asleep and all that. But I didn't think she was getting enough food. But that child, she slept. She slept very, very well when she was born. I didn't think she was getting enough food. And then one day, while still in the hospital, the nurse came and I had to, it was tough for me, but I had to say, let them try formula with her. And they're like, yeah, let's try it. You can always still breastfeed her. That's not a problem. And they tried formula, and this girl drank it. So she had been hungry. I felt like I had failed her, I'm telling you, because I was not able to get her to latch. Meanwhile, she was hungry, but she was not crying that she was hungry. I felt really, really bad. And then we got home. I was still trying. I bought the formula because I'm like, I won't let her go hungry just because I want to force her to latch. From the hospital, they had said, well, it looks like she has a bit of a tongue tie, and that tongue tie is like, underneath the tongue, there's like, if you look at the mirror, you'll see there's like whatever that tissue is that is attaching the tongue to like the whatever that is. Anyway, there's that tissue. So it's like hers was forward, it wasn't as far back. So it's like a bit of a tongue tie that they said she had, and that sometimes it can prevent you from babies from latching. So, they had said, perhaps we'll want to do a frenectomy. Frenectomy is where they cut it so that she... Anyway, fast forward, when she was not breastfeeding. I was pumping and... but she was not breastfeeding, and I didn't want that. I really, really, really desperately wanted her to breastfeed. So eventually we had to go and see lactation consultants. Thank God. Thank God for that benefit and the ability to actually have that here. I'm not sure if back home we have lactation consultants. I have no idea. But there were many here. I was spoiled for choice. I went to the first one. Because those ones also do the frenectomy procedure, it seemed like that's all they wanted. I was emotional. I wanted to do it, but thankfully my husband was there with me, and he was like, well, hold on. It looks like that's all they want, the money from the procedure. Eventually, I went to another consultant who doesn't do the procedure in their office, and they tried, that they were phenomenal because they taught me positions, they taught me how to, and she would do it. It's just that, so eventually she was able to get on it and latch and breastfeed there. But the consultant there did say that she had a tongue tie, and they recommended that we get that procedure done. So I had to go get the procedure done, and oof, I don't know if anybody around here has done that procedure. The aftercare is the worst part of it. I think it was every 4 hours or every 6 hours. You have to put your hand inside her mouth and do some exercises. Yeah. Anyway, we did the frenectomy, and breastfeeding was phenomenal. So that was hard. Eventually, at 7 months, this child stopped breastfeeding. Once she started having teeth, that's how she refused. So she has stopped now, which I did not like because I wanted her to do it till 1. But she has stopped, but I still have to pump, and she's still taking the breast milk. She's just not latching on. So it's not like she's not, I still consider that breastfeeding because she's taking breast milk, but she's not breastfeeding directly. So she's not nursing, but I still have to pump for her. So that's one. The fact that when you're breastfeeding, you have to wear two-piece outfits, two-piece clothing. I was not prepared for that at all. When I started going back to church, it was so tough because I could only wear two-piece. And it's like, oh my goodness. Anywhere I'm going, I have to make sure that it's two-piece. I was not prepared for that. I didn't even, it was not a thing in my head that, okay. But I guess it's just something that I did not think about and then became my reality, So as much as I'm not happy that she's not breastfeeding right anymore, at least now I can wear whatever I want. So that, another thing, postpartum depression is real. I would not say that I had postpartum depression, thank God, but I had baby blues. And it was like after she was born, like the first 2 to 3 weeks after she was born, I just started crying for no reason. I would just start crying. I was just emotional. I was moody. My mom was here helping with the child. I wouldn't let her do anything. I refused to allow her do stuff. Like I was hugging it. It's like I felt like I had to do everything by myself. Like I think in my head, I felt like, this is something that I desired for so long. Why should I get help from anybody else? I should do this myself. And nobody ever got an award for super mama that one should let people help. But I was not, she didn't like it. It was worrisome for her. She told my mom, she told some other people to talk to me and let her help. But I just felt like I had to do everything by myself. And then I would feel emotional again. Like there was the time I was just changing her diaper and I started crying. Just like that. So that was something. And like after 3 weeks, I was fine. Thank God. Yeah. Another thing is the fact that, because this was a child that we prayed for. This was a child that was not only a rainbow baby, she was a miracle baby. I just felt like, there's some little things that happen, like when the child just comes and consumes you, because that's how I felt. But I felt like I did not have the audacity. I did not have the guts. You two, you will complain? How dare you complain about anything? So I couldn't really share some things about how I was feeling, like with friends and family. Like at some point I was overwhelmed, but I felt, why? How can you say you are overwhelmed? How? When this is something that you prayed for. But I think it's okay. It's a valid feeling to be overwhelmed. Yes, it was a child that I prayed for. This is a child that I prayed and I desired and I fasted and I was desperate to have, which I'm thankful for. In the same light, though, I should be able to talk about how I'm feeling. Oh my goodness. I'm overwhelmed. Because I was overwhelmed, especially when my mom left. Oh my goodness. This is someone that I did not let do anything. But eventually, eventually when I was willing to let her do stuff, it was closer to when she was leaving. And when she left, oh Lord, I felt it. I definitely felt it. It's very interesting because here, abroad, you're by yourself. It's you, your husband, yourself. It's not like you have anybody that is helping. Nannies are so expensive. There's some people that choose not to be stay-at-home moms and all that. I'm back to work, thank God. So she's in daycare. She's in daycare now. And but nonetheless, anytime, during the weekends, or if I'm working from home, or if I'm not working, she's with me. And it's like I can't do anything. I cannot do anything. But thankfully, there was a period where I was away. I had to go back to Nigeria for my dad's 80th birthday. So she was with my husband. She was around 6 months then. And my husband was able to kind of get her on a schedule, and she's on a schedule now. And thank God, she's sleeping through the night. So it's getting better. And that's kind of how I felt at the beginning when I was hugging everything and wanting to do everything, because I felt like, well, it's not going to be like this forever, right? So this is me that I wanted twins. So I wanted, God truly does not give you more than you can handle. I desperately wanted twins. In my previous video, you probably see I put my prayer room, or my prayer closet. And I had both male and female because I wanted twins. I wanted a boy and a girl. I cannot imagine. Kudos to my mom. My mom had twins. Though she had help. I mean, my grandma was helping her and all that. She had help. But nonetheless, kudos to all those that had multiple children, or that have multiple children, multiple births, right? Yeah, multiple births, twins, triplets, whatever. It's not, especially when you're in the West without help. God knows that I could not handle it. So he jejely gave me my one. My one. And, she's a joy. So yeah, those are a few things that nobody prepares you for. My OB, when I was talking to her about breastfeeding and how difficult it was, she also suggested that we did the frenectomy. She said, well, potty training is another tough one. So when you get to that stage, so we'll see. I'll come back and let you guys know. We'll see how that goes with potty training. But I'm not dying before that death comes. No, when it comes, we'll cross that bridge when it comes. So I'm not going to start getting anxiety over that right now. Every step, every stage, be thankful. And it moves so fast. I can't believe she's 8 months old. Like, I'm already planning her first birthday. So yeah. So those are a few things that I did want to talk about, which were quite interesting and I was not prepared for, but we navigated through, thank God. But yeah, that's it from me on today's episode of Get Candid with Folu. Till next time, thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye.